further. Okay, so I establish my worth. All right, four is coming to the place where we realize all the time, in all manners, God is my source. Now, this is very important. This is the right attitude toward the infinite channel. And just like I say, it's the cause and source of your life. It is the cause and source of every single good in your life, whether it's a friend, a check, love, job. It's all God. The face of God is within all of that. Of divine love is within that. And it supplies you the appropriate channels and that are appropriate to the now for your good. So we start saying, now, we are grateful for our good from wherever it comes from. We always practice gratitude, but we realize that the God is the source. God is the source, okay? Now, why is this so important? Number one, because it's true, and without truth you cannot be free, and if you cannot not acknowledge source, you cannot receive of the limitless capacity of the source. You've confined yourself to the particular good you might receive from a limited channel, a person, place, thing, particular thing, right? So we go the other way. We say, this is the infinite supplying me through this particular channel at this time. Okay, what's our attitude then to be toward these different channels of our love, our joy, our abundance? We are to maintain detachment, always. The great yogis, Buddha, Lao Tzu, whoever, any of the master consciousness, detachment. And this is us always having the constant recognition, seeing through the appearance to see the presence of the Creator there within. We maintain detachment, freedom. So we love all our sources, maybe our particular job or whatever that we're in, and we love all, but we say we love them with freedom, meaning there is no desperate holding on, because that would be to lie and say that that person, place, or thing is my source, and not the all and the all. So we maintain detachment, we maintain a sense of freedom, loving our good when we have it, releasing it when persons, places, and things want to go, and releasing in love and with gratitude. Thank you for being there at the time that you were, and I let that go. So I love all persons with freedom, and they love me with freedom. This is our mantra. I love all with freedom, and they love me with freedom. And we know in the way of the Tao that if something is going, something is coming. The river never stops flowing. So we say, apparently, God has something greater in mind for me now. So thank you so much for being there in my life, and I release you to your good. You see? So there's always the high consciousness, imbuing everything that you're about. I enrich all, I prosper all, and all prosper me with freedom. With freedom. Freedom is God's law. We cannot put a stranglehold around those persons and conditions that have been given to us from the Most High itself and say, this is mine, mine, and mine forever now, and I'm going to restrict this. If this person, place, or thing wants to go somewhere else, I'm not letting it happen because my good depends upon them. See how that restricts our life? And then everything starts jamming up on us and getting restricted. So we want to always say a double gratitude. Thanks for that wonderful whatever you gave me, to whomever, or you're giving me, and thank you, God. Thank you, God. Okay? So we realize now that a great metaphysician said that, God's channels don't know names. God just knows to be a channel. The law just knows to provide you. It doesn't get stuck in the idea of a name, okay? So we realize all are God in action on our behalf for however long or short a time. All are good. We stay out of criticism. Oh, gee, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have left. They should have been better. They should have been this. They should have been... Well, you're just cutting off your supply right then and there. Give thanks for the good you got and move on in grace and in faith. All right. So we want to release, in this phase, we want to release all attachments. It doesn't mean we don't love. We can love much more freely and much more joyously when we don't have the noose going out around persons, places, and things. Release attachments, dependency. If I think person, place, or thing is my supply, I become dependent on them, and then what happens? Supposing they let me down, what happens? Everything goes down the tubes. But if I know God is my supply, you know, something doesn't come through, something else will. So these are the great, you know, things that you're always taught for the ultimate reasons of good and abundance for yourself and joy. Release attachments, dependency, and all wanting control and all wanting approval. Now, so that now abundance can flow freely in your life. You are not congesting the stream, okay? It's simply that. And there's a great statement that Christ in me, meaning the highest consciousness in me, is unfettered and unbound. Establishing your freedom. You want to be living in the now all the time, realizing supply is always going on. So what, you know, why live in the supply of yesterday when you can partake of the kingdom today, right? So we want to release our attachments, release all reactivity, even with the ones we love. If we do not give them the space and freedom to be who they are in God, the divine idea that they are meant to be, if we do not give them that space and freedom, it causes limitation in our life. It causes restriction somewhere because we're breaking the law by holding on too tight. So we want all persons to express themselves completely, and we want them to know around us, you know, the world is yours. Go and do and be and ascend and rise and have, and I celebrate you. Okay, we don't want to short circuit or limit anyone. All right, so strong attachments can, I mean, they cause illness, they cause all kinds of things. Even parents who are very, you know, like too controlling over the children, you'd be amazed what people will go as far as becoming insane to get away from that influence, and that is the truth. So, you know, none of us are in that consciousness, but that just tells you what that does, what that fear does, and how it returns unto us. So we want to free people, empower them, let them know that we know they are God, and, you know, that they are the perfection of spirit unfolding. Okay, too strong attachment either with those we love or those we have strong reactivity to. That binds you too. If somebody's always coming into my mind and I'm angry about that person and I'm seething about that person or I'm grieving about that person, I am chained like steel to that person. So it's not only the ones we love that we have to release the ones that we love the least, that we have the most reactivity to. Because all reactivity, by the way, is based on a false belief. For instance, a lover leaves, you know, and then you get angry or you get sorrowful or whatever. Well, why do we have that feeling? Because we have said to ourselves, there will be no other. And that is not the truth, because God is infinite eternal love supplying. So I've created a dependency, and that has made me susceptible to anger, to depression or whatever, right? So we've got to clean out our emotional body so that we manifest the joyous body of light. And we can only have the joyous body of light when we have truth and we have peace. All right? Okay, release reactivity. Yogis say, you know, practice not being surprised, not being stunned, being able to manage this energy field of emotions. It's a powerful field, and if anything can hang you up, it will be the emotions. More than anything, it's the astral plane. And people get stuck there, you know. And to the degree you're stuck in your emotions, you don't have the freedom to create what you want in your life. So we must be vigilant and consciously say, you know, no matter what, I'm going to practice responding with love. No matter what. Why? Because for me, for my abundance, for my freedom, for my soul's evolution. All right, release of any and all persons, places, and conditions connections that are no longer a part of the divine plan for your life. This is all preparation to receive, releasing, right? This is a great statement. That divine mind in me, Christ mind in me, whatever, however you want to say the highest mind in me, say, I am willing to let go of all persons, places, things, and conditions that are no longer a part of the highest plan, in this case, for my prosperity, for my highest prosperous good. Known and unknown, whether I know it or not, it doesn't matter. Once I've given the instruction, the law will work it, okay? The omniscience does know. So I'm willing to release any and all persons, places, conditions that are no longer a part of the prosperous plan for my good. And I open to receive of all new persons, places, and things that are now a part of the prosperous plan for my good. And that keeps you in the present, and that's a great thing to say because it covers a lot of bases. And you'll find with that, and with that willingness to give up a world to have a world, that new people will come in, that other people, if they're not a part of your life and their good is elsewhere, they will move out and find their good elsewhere. So we leave it up to the infinite intelligence to discern what needs to go, what needs to arrive. We let the infinite intelligence do it, and we don't worry about the details. We just say whatever is a part of that, knowing that the omniscience will supply us. All right? Learn to release anything and everything. Come to a place where you not have only said, well, I've forgotten, but you release with a blessing. And declare, if you want a thing to be completed in your life, a great teacher once told me, instead of resisting it, trying to get away from it, and you want it to be finished, say that it is complete. That I have received all I needed to receive, they have received all they needed to receive. The raison d'etre for this being my life is now complete. You can do that on anything. I declare, and it is complete, and I release it with a blessing. With a blessing. Because it's not enough, I don't think, just to, release it. That we have to actively give that blessing of good, wanting good for the other, and then we know we have perfected that emotional requirement there, okay? God is my completeness. God is, meaning the great creative law, the many names of God, love, all the attributes and aspects of the one is my completeness, and I am the completeness of it all. And I practice being the completeness of all and having no other gods before me. So that means that I do not empower any of the situations out there and start, how we get transfixed by a situation, and suddenly that for a moment has become our God, because our mind is on that, and we have appointed it to sit in the throne of our life, right? So we want to say, I have no other gods before me. Good. That good which I have is my God. And a good thing you can ask yourself is, what am I putting above me? When you think in terms of your good, ask if you're you're making some other person, place, or thing, or their word about you more important than your knowing of your good. What are you putting above you? What are you putting in there? And take it down and realize the truth in its place. All right? So realizing that it's always meant for good. If there's only one creator, one thing, one power, one thing that's happening, then there is only good happening all the time. Amen. End of story. We do not speak negative words anymore. We are becoming that ancient crystal race that didn't have a dictionary with a negative in it. Okay? We have to purify all that dross from our consciousness. So God meant it for good, and we convert it to the opposite, which we talked about last week. Not only is it for my good, even if it appears to be for my lack, it's for my prosperity. And if you want to produce prosperity, abundance, you must speak in terms of abundance. This is for my prosperity. This makes me rich. And you take it to the polar, like the alchemist, take it to the polar opposite. Looks like I lost a job, it's because I'm gaining something greater. It makes me rich. Looks like this happened, because there's something greater. Simply energy. Where are you going to plug that energy in? The alchemists knew this, okay? So it is meant for my greatest good. Amen. No speculation. like I said, you can have your limits if you want to, you can keep your limitations if you want them, but if you want to release them, then you must move into the divine recognition language, okay? All right, God, or the great law, is the only doer and really does want our acknowledgement. As much as we want the acknowledgement of our friends, can you imagine the manifest of this whole universe watching us and what we go through and the denials and all that? So don't you think that power, appreciation, and recognition works, you know, so powerfully with the first cause, which we are one with? All right, release all of fear. All fear must go from our cellular structure. If we want to become those light bodies, which we are, it's just a matter of cleaning out all the carbon and negation out of our systems. If we want to become that, we must release all fear. And, you know, where there is fear, there cannot be love. Where there is love, there is prosperity. All right? Where there is fear, there are degrees of lack somewhere. Okay? So we must be willing to release all our fear, which is based on an idea that God is not. I am separate. There is no great one that I live in. I'm separate. I'm not connected. Love is based, and the great mystics have this, it's based on a feeling of unity, a knowing I am one with all that is. So the greater your consciousness of I am one with all that is, the greater your prosperity. Because prosperity is an aspect of love. Bounty, beauty are a manifestation of the love consciousness. All right? The unified consciousness. And how can I access my abundance, that is, if I am not one, and saying that I am one with all that is in this vast universe, in every kingdom, every nation, every person. I am one. God made only one. There's only one son, daughter, and that's the Christ, or the, you know, the perfected being. There is only one that was ever manifested. All right, realize that this is great to realize that we rely on this perfection, we declare the perfection, we say, I live in a universe of wholeness, I live in a universe of love. And with love, all things are possible to me. I had this on my card riding across country. And there were times, you know, arriving late somewhere and, you know, hotel rooms, you know, all booked up. And I would just look at that sign and I would say, with God, all things are possible. I mean, with love. And I say, the master himself has held a room for me, you know? And I would always have my room. Always. Whatever it was that I asked on that holy trip across this country, I got. And I didn't buy into the negation, you see? I didn't buy into it, and I didn't give it force. And I kept that mantra before me to remind me of the truth, because it's so easy to lose ourselves in what people are saying and not to realize that if this is a universe of wholeness, how can there be any truth that there's no room for me? There cannot be. There cannot be. So in the universe of wholeness, all good is yours and is available without limit. All right? Realize that every good that you have in your life, you drew that good because of your consciousness, because of your acceptance. You drew that good, or became a right place for that good to appear. So if the channel changes, so what? I am the consciousness that created that good to begin with. So now, okay, you know, I can change my universal channel, but I can still have the power to recreate that good and better. A business, you know, reaches its conclusion or whatever, and we say we bless that business, we release it. And we go forward knowing I manifested that, and now I can do it again. I'll do it the very same way I did it before. Even if I wasn't conscious of it, it was through my consciousness. Now I know that. So I know that I can create whatever. And I am the creator. Whatever the creator is, I am. The creator and I are one. All right? We say I am one. And I am one with all that it is. I am not the first cause, but I am the manifestation, and I have all that it is, okay? So Realize you drew the good. You are the good that you have ever created. How did you create it? You created out of your consciousness of good because you're it. You know, the mystics will say, you know, be the thing. I say, what do you mean? You know, how can I be it? What they're saying, how can I be a house? What they mean is, be it in your consciousness. Be the consciousness of the house for you. Be the consciousness of the whatever for you, okay? And then it shall appear, born out of the stuff of your consciousness. All right, the law of perfect supply, we said, doesn't know names. So we love all with freedom, all love me with freedom. I cannot lose, we cannot lose. Remember this eternally. We cannot lose that which is ours through releasing. We can release the ones we love, release the ones we have strong reactivity to, whatever. We cannot lose that which is ours through releasing them. If it is truly ours, it only creates a greater flow, and that person, place, or thing will just come right back to you. So never be afraid, and come to a place where you don't have fear, and you could release anything with ease. That's how sure you are of your supply. All right, under fear, when we have fear, realize there's always a thought underneath that. And you can ask yourself, you can say, I'm feeling fear about this. I know I should release it, I want to release it, but I'm terrified, you know. So you can say, well, what's the thought I have? What, you know, if I could put words on the fear, what is it? Bring it out on the table. You know, let it speak to you what the fear is, and then you can begin with the truth to say, that's not the truth. And that fear will just go. If you will tell the truth to any feeling, it will dissolve and become love. If you will tell the truth of life to any feeling. What's underneath that fear? So ask yourself this, you know, what's underneath this fear that I have? What is it? And then be self-responsible. And once it comes up, well, you know, I figured, well, if this job goes, there won't be another one. Then heal it and say, God is my continuity of perfect supply, right? All right, lesson 5, I am a steward of infinite wealth. This is about right circulation and realizing that all the Father hath is mine, and I am thine, and thou art mine, and the kingdom is mine now for every good use, for all uses, but nothing is mine in the sense of as separate from others. So I evolve an idea, instead of a possessor, you know, tightly possessing things and conditions and so on, I let the infinite prosperity move through my life. I use it, but I circulate it. I know I am a steward of the kingdom, that all good has been given to me, including mind, the capacity to create. I am a steward of all these things, and I take a higher position, a more objective rather than emotional position, where I'm interested in living by principle rather than by emotions. So we live by the principle, the high principle of love in all our ways, all right? Right circulation. If there's congestion, ask yourself, am I not circulating? What do I need to circulate? We have methods of tithing, joyous payment of bills. So we're reinstating the right idea of money, what it is, that it is meant, you know, to serve us and not to run us, right? So nothing is mine, yet all is mine to use. We treat money and all forms of supply as love in action, God in action. This is God in action in my life. How wonderful it is. Thank you. You know, it's God in action in my life. We treat as if you were given like a kingdom or a storehouse to take care of with love. That is how we want to handle all the assets and attributes, including our talents and all of our life. So we are to live in perfect circulation, neither holding on too long, nor being out of balance and knowing when to take something, appropriate something. It's a universal circulation, so we utilize and we let it go. And then we appropriate whatever our next need is in a sense of rhythm. So I am perfect circulation. I am balance of perfect giving and perfect receiving. So being that this universe works in the circle, we must circulate our good. We must circulate it, be gracious, be generous, share, that it may return unto us through the circle. What do you need to change in your life to increase your life now? Ask yourself, am I stuck anywhere? If life is not moving, you may be stuck somewhere. And then you can know you can activate a principle and get that light energy accelerated again. All right. Power of gratitude and blessing makes what you have more. So instead of complaining and saying, where is it, and I don't have it, and all of this, and digging our limitation, we say, we bless and praise what we have to make it more. And we acknowledge the invisible presence with us in all our ways. There is no need for lack. If we have the kingdom, can you tell me, why do I have to go without? There is no need for lack, for compromise. Stop compromising, because the more you train yourself to compromise, the more you're buying into what we call the human race mind, the negativity, and your life is flattened right then and there. You're restricted right then and there. You're like watching the dance of the seven veils. You're not free. You're mesmerized. You're mesmerized by what they say. And so we cannot live the truth, okay? So no need for lack, no need for compromise. Go for the highest and best always, all right? Quality demonstrations, God demonstrations filled with the substance of the glowing allness, okay? Practice the consciousness of declaring, I have it all. Not someday I'm going to have it, but know that you have it all now. I have it all now. I have it now. I'm not going to become wealthy sometime down the line. I have wealth now. I bring it out of myself. It's already given, right? I have love now. I am love. I am the essence of that and the spirit of that in all my ways. The secret of creation, we talked about last week, act as if. Act as if it already is. If you already had the perfect whatever, fill in the blanks, that you desire right now, how would you be behaving? Act that way now, because you must incorporate it and be it within first for it to be demonstrated in your life, shown to you in your life. All right, the ancients practice living in I am complete now. Now, practice completing your visions too. This is very important. When you sit down and contemplate the new good, to receive of the divine influx of what is the greatest, highest idea for me here, this idea I have in mind, and you're receiving, and that's forming there, take your vision all the way through to completeness. So many times we stop and we don't complete the vision, and we get a haphazard demonstration. So, think of the whole thing. Think of yourself living in it, being in it. What would my world be like? That sets you in a right note for receiving, a right resonance for receiving that, because I'm knowing in my silent heart that I have it, and I am acting according to that I have it. All right. What mind can conceive, we can achieve. So I must see it within myself first, and it's not only must I see it, but I must receive it within first. This is part of receiving, for it to appear. So when Christ, you look at the miracles, when he said, thank you for whatever, he was already receiving within himself the absolute response of the Father. He wasn't wondering, gee, I wonder if I'm going to be responded to. He knew. And so therefore he was receiving within first. In other words, before those fish multiplied, they had already multiplied within him. He knew they were multiplied, that he was responded to. So the first place we receive is in the heart, that I know that I am responded to, okay? And we want to practice receiving. When you're thinking in terms of your good, just don't think about it as apart from you. Get into as if, and then practice receiving that good literally, And so the realization is I have it all now, there's nothing to get. Rather, I need to fill in my picture, okay? Visualize having it now, now here's another great secret for receiving and accelerating the time of when your manifestation shall be, okay? If you will visualize having it now, and you will agree to be ready to receive it now, practice the habit of receiving now, and cure the habit of my good later. Postpone it. We have so much postponement in here that we don't realize that we can have it now. So if I can receive it now, as I am now, just as everything that's going on in my life now, and not judge it, but say it's okay for myself, just as everything is, because God loves me, wants me to have my good, I can have it now. I don't have to be better, this, that, on and on, postponing forever. That is an endless game. What you need to do is to transcend that postponement and practice receiving now, as I am now. And when you envision yourself receiving of your good, being one with it, in the now, right in this time zone now. Like if you're to think of your theater, you imagine it happening here in the theater. Okay? Practice living in the now, accelerating your consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? It's very important. An aspect there is that if there's anything that we need, remember that when we say that God is all in all, the great all in the all, and all my supply, we're also talking about what we need in non-material terms, like maybe I need enhanced skill. So that I then begin to give thanks that I am resonating. I have the skill I need to be the right person for this whatever. And also we do a reciprocal thing with, let's say, relationship. It's not enough to say, oh God, bring me the greatest love, who's this way and that way and that way. And then we don't do anything ourselves to turn ourselves up to be equivalent with that. So your judgment, you can say, well, what can I do to resonate more strongly with this thing that I need? And that's part of right preparation to receive. So maybe, there might be something come to me that I need to do. Maybe I need to learn a little bit more about something. Maybe that's not my issue at all. Maybe I need to up my sense of self-worth. I know, the issue is particular for each one, and there is no set rule. But we do want to do our part so that we're resonating at the level where our good will be attracted to us. So then in your vision, we always speak affirmatively. So we don't say, oh my God, I don't have this. We immediately, knowing that God is present, no matter if it's an idea, a skill, a right presentation, or whatever I need, I have it. And we call upon the Creator first for the riches. So I say, give me wisdom, for a talk or whatever. Give me illumination. Give me this, give me that. And then I receive because I have asked. I want more skill, give me the capacity. Increase my capacity. Very often I ask to be increased. If I have large demands upon myself, I will say, increase me to be able to handle this with ease. And so we will know what it is that we need to be able to move into that energy band with ease. And that makes us a right receiver. So if I go in, let's say for an appointment to an office, and there's a job that I want, and I have said to myself, thank you, God, you have given me, or divine mind, or any word you want to use, you are guiding me, and this interview goes great, and you give me all the exact wisdom and knowledge that I need, and it's perfectly successful and complete. And so, lo and behold, there you are, and the ideas start popping into your head. So we rely upon this all in the all for whatever. Edgar Cayce, he would go to sleep. The way Edgar Cayce would learn a book is he would go to sleep and he'd put the book in his chest. He'd wake up and have a whole book. So this omnipotence is available to us at all times, the omniscience, at all times and in every single situation. That's how close our relationship should be. And God shows up. See, what I know to be so shows up in my life. And that's where I can be in the desert, and there's the appearance of no water, and then water materializes for me because I know that I'm thirsty and that water is available. Because I'm plugged into the source, not relying upon myself alone, my human will, right? So God is now, think of money as God. Do not make money, do not put money in front of God. If you want true wealth that lasts forever and is increasingly opulent, think of money as God, as your sacred trust. Pay out, give, receive luxuriously with love. There is no reason for the infinite stream to be cut off anywhere, okay? And if you have fear about something, put thank you on your check quite consciously. If you're paying a big amount and you're afraid, cure that fear, because fear says, then I don't really believe God is all in all. I think that in the case of this, that's not true. You know, like this can be some special cases. No. All right, so examine fears and heal through the truth. All fear is based in the physical. It's believing I'm a physical body and I am the matter world, and not understanding I am spirit. All fear is based in the physical, believing I am physical, rather than understanding our love is understanding I am spiritual. And I rule matter through understanding that I am spiritual. All right? The universal law works anyway. So no matter what we're telling ourselves, if we are not abiding in the law, like perfect circulation, I must give. You know, one of the highest principles of receiving is to give what you want to receive. And that means if I want love in my life, I must be love and give love. Give of that which you want to receive. That's one of the highest, most accelerated principles. All right? So if you hold on, you become tight. So I say, well, I'm not going to give love until someone comes along and loves me. So you have become so tight, you know, and you're not on the law. And so, you know, God's just not going to provide you the love. The law is impeccable, and it works in its own system of the one. Think of the one of love. It works by that. And so, you know, we don't give, things get taken from us. It works anyway. So why not be conscious and move with it? Be a good steward of the kingdom that is thine. All right? We give our share in gladness unconditionally in praise of that law that sustains us all. Practice the power of the highest, the best, beauty, thinking in terms of the highest, best, beauty. Hold out for the best. Hold out for the best. Do not take less. Right circulation. Practice being on the inside of your good. Place yourself in the center of your good. You know, it's like attending every wedding in the world and yet not having your own, right? So that's where we somehow, because of our belief structure, we put ourselves on the outside. So whatever it is, put yourself in the middle. Now see yourself in the middle, that you are the central figure of that radiation. It's very powerful. Just all you have to do is move yourself in the middle, right? Just move yourself in the center. So that's one way to claim good for yourself. And so often we say, well, I see good there, but it has nothing to do with me. You know, it's wonderful, you know, but what does that to do with me? Well, you must put yourself in the center and claim it. Claim it in perfect right ways for you, for it to be yours. All right? Your consciousness must be in the right place. And I always encourage people to work the consciousness, take the chance. Because even though it may be fearful at first, once you have practiced this principle, you will see how glorious it is. There's an actress I work with in California who does a lot of great work. And her evolution had to do with learning her authority. You know, always there was a feeling of someone else kind of running her life. Now she is at a place and realized here's where the race mind works. You know, it says there's not enough roles for women, there's not enough this, you have to take what you can get, and so on. And a lot of people in that industry suffer from that, suffer terrible pain from buying into that. She knows that God is my supply, and I have all the great film roles and everything that I need, and I do not have to compromise. So she got a call the other day, in fact, to do a soap opera. But the role was really not up to her quality, yet she needed money. Here's where it happens, right? So I said, let us know that God's idea for you is absolute fulfillment that resonates with you. So there's nothing in God wants you to have to go labor doing this, hang around that set all day long when you promised to take your son out somewhere. And there's no great benefit for her, right? So, and it just didn't resonate with her. You don't even need a reason. It didn't resonate. So I said, just release this. Tell them that, you know, you'll pass it by. But you must know that, see, this is the surgery here. You must know as I release it, as I say no to this, you must complete your statement, that I am supplied with as much money and more in perfect right ways. In perfect right, harmonious to me, doing movies. That's her harmony, okay? So she did that, and she took her son off to the theme park. And I said, not only that, let's just say that while you're out there, taking your son out there and doing the thing that is nurturing for you in your moment in your life right now, that when you get back, it's already done for you. So she gets back that evening and calls me, and her agent had called her, like, thrilled that this unexpected check had arrived that was exactly the amount and more than she would have gotten from slaving a whole day. So it was received. Because she stayed in her integrity. And she operated the law. I mean, she had to pay the price of right knowing. Do you understand what I'm saying? We cannot expect to receive good if we're wishy-washy. She knows, and she's sure about the intention of the Creator with her life, that it is only meant for good and for fulfillment according to her heart, not someone else's heart or idea. And so she knows, as I live in the divine order of my life, doing what I resonate with, that I am supplied, and I do not have to be encumbered. And she had another situation. These are powerful things to realize. She also is going to be traveling back across country, and she's very busy packing and all of this. And there's a film in New York, right? A role for her, both her and her son. So she has a great tape, and had said, well, when's the director going to be there? Well, maybe I have to fly in, and I can fly back, and then I'm going to get my luggage, and and she's moving at the same time, returning to the East Coast. So that would have been very encumbering for her, and would break the rhythm of her life. I said, send your tape. That's enough. And so she now has it. She sent the tape, and it's enough. And now she can drive across country, seeing the canyons, and doing what she wants to do for her and her son, right? And the work is waiting for her. So God, when we know how powerful this love is, was not to compromise that. With that show, and her money came, perfect right ways. Now film roll is opened up, and she's letting her tape do the work for her, not jumping on a plane in anxiety and jumping back again. And so this really governs the way that we live life, the condition of our state of faith. And we must know this, and I do feel if we want to, pass through the eye of the needle to get closest to God as we can, we must practice these principles in the moment when the fear comes up. She knew she had a choice. She was going to go with that fear, or she was going to get a greater realization, and she could move forward, right? So we have to do our part in that way. But there's no compromise needed. We don't limit ourselves. We don't get so tight on it that we're unable to take something that's presented for our good. But we know that we really don't have to get out of balance. In other words, by holding out for the best, being discriminating about that, if one job can be offered you, another one can. And as I say, no, if it's truly not going to prosper me, if the advantages, disadvantages don't weigh out, if you choose to use it for your own purposes, okay, this will give me some money, it's not too taxing on me, and I can still pursue my thing, then I would consider that a part of the harmony. Just step in there and do it. But if it's going to cause, angst for you and restriction for you, then don't do it. You can afford to say no. Why? Because you have the kingdom, and because God is love. If your consciousness is in the right place, you'll turn everything to good, and you'll say, this is a part of it. As I'm doing this, it leads me to my good. So we always introduce an idea of harmony and no separation, no disturbance. So if I do decide to go something, I say, well, it's a part of the overall. It's a part of the overall thing that's happening. And so my good can spring forth right from the thing that I am doing right then and there. That's the natural sequence of natural order. I don't say, oh, this takes me away. If I'm going to do it, I say it's a part of it. I immediately incorporate it and stay in a position of power. And this literally is managing energy. The dynamic energies of the cosmos. Through our thought, we can manage energy to work for us. All right? So we always bless anything we choose to do. Once we've chosen to do it, we know that it prospers us. God made the world. First word, it is good. It is good. We make it good by our word. You want to bring yourself to the level, okay? And this is where the self-work comes in. We could always keep your goal in front of you, your high goal. No matter what phase you may be in the time zone, in your heart and mind you want to be there, in the perfection, right? And so how, you've got to ask yourself, what is holding me apart, from my good? Now, we know all good is available to you. We know that. And I'm sure everyone in this room knows your absolute worthiness. So we're not in question about that. The only one who can be is you, okay? So maybe the thing that you need to do is to release the idea that I have to take this job and, I have to put up with it, and begin to cultivate in your mind the idea that you would like to have. And, dwell on that, build up the consciousness that it is available to me. Because the truth is, if I can think of it, it already exists for me. But, like the person who lives in the small room and doesn't go out, if we don't step outside to see that it is, I will never know that it is. And I will be putting up with all kinds of stuff, thinking I have to take it. And there comes a point when you have blessed something enough, and if it hasn't, you have grown. You're always growing. I know you are, because you're always consciously advancing. So you may advance beyond situations that you're in. You've got to realize that. People who directly go for spiritual consciousness, who live for that great wealth of consciousness, are moving faster, at a faster rate, than somebody who's still in the physical bound, in a small circumference. So there may come a time when the situation that you're in, not only is it not serving you, it's restricting you, because you need to get free. So I would say that you should spend your time building a consciousness of, if I didn't think that I needed to take this, what do I really want? If I knew I could have the optimum situation. Don't forget, you're a woman of great capacities. So the universe is much better served by you when you are doing them. We have to know these things about us. That's why I say you have to know yourself. You have to know your position in this world and what attributes you have. The universe is much better served by you giving of the great wealth. And if you're willing to, then you can release the old form. You see? You can release the old form, because I'm willing to consciously give of that higher good for the world that I have to give. So, if I'm willing to give at that level, I can have at that level. So anything, once we're willing to give at that high level, then we do expect that the compensation, Emerson talks about the law of compensation. If I am giving at a high level, then I shall be compensated by the universal mind, God, appropriately. And when I'm doing my divine purpose, I am absolutely doing the utmost good that I can do. So no one has to take less unless we believe we have to take less.